We are so back. We got everyone in the lobby, and it's still Core with the pistol. No restarts, no funny business. But I'm liking Logan with the outlaw. I dreamt about this. Marks.
It came to you in a dream, and thus Logan decided to follow through on that. But no, it makes perfect sense. Like, especially with that chamber, you want him to be holding down some of these longer sight lines. And B, it looks like they're ready for this engagement on B.
Oh my god, you're trying his best to pressure through the choke, but Envy have kicked down the door. They've taken control of that boathouse, managing to also close the door, cutting off the market side. Core trying to already break that down, but I think it's already too late. You've lost nerve because they've been evicted. And Envy get the spike down. This is going to be really tough for Core to try and break through, or at least have the range. They'll have some outlaw and our Marshall. They have the forces, but Envy have both lanes on watch. Ion's ready for the paranoia right through main. And Tuzi gets an opener. So Envy just playing their lives, not peeking unnecessarily unless it's the duelists that have to do so, when it's still Core that managed to pay it off with patience.
Yeah, it was looking like Envy were the ones who were in the driver's seat very firmly. The flood in onto site, just the amount of bodies that were just running in, it completely overwhelmed what Core had set up. And then Logan comes in with the outlaw. A couple of awkward timings. You see Envy decide to push up there, but Logan coming up clutch, finding 2 kills, and then the isolation makes sure that it is a winnable round. All things considered, still a decent round from Envy, given the fact that they only really bought up 2 weapons there. So we're seeing them still be able to really afford full weaponry across the board, except for Poppin, who's going to be put onto Stinger duty, which kind of is an OP gun if you ask me. But this is really going to be an interesting round, because on the other side, Alim bringing an operator, a round 3 operator for this Yoru. It feels like Core are really leaning on to the sniper v sniper matchups to try and just hold down some of these extremely long angles on this defense and catch a player or 2 off guard.
Yeah, because Core already found so much success at mid, even off the pistol. I mean, Ilum started off 3-0, so but now he's smoked off up close. Envy found the real estate they were hoping for, but a barrier is going to separate them on catwalk, so they're fine dealing with that. It's been good delay from the Core side, and they'll rely on Logan with the outlaw, but most importantly, Alum with the pick. And now there's no Logan on A, so Envy may inspire themselves to try and plant over on that side, especially when you get rid of the Sentinel util, but Kane Zera is just getting ahead of the game, trying to cut off Core from getting back into mid. And speaking of cutting off, Inspire still lurks around to shoot Core in the back, knowing they're going to rotate through catwalk, but Darkest puts Inspire down to the ground, and that means Envy are not going to have the advantage anymore. Dimensional drift in round 3 from Alum. He's going to get right behind Exter and gets the kill to set up there for success, and it's Ion to save the day, but he can't do that either.
Talk about a jump scare and a half. Like, just at the last second when you're trying to win these gun duels down, and then suddenly a Yoru clone pops out in front of you, honestly saving Darkest's life, because suddenly it goes from direct bullet damage to wallbang damage. And so it was just enough to make sure that Darkest stays alive. But the real hero of that round has to be Alim playing with this operator. And it's so interesting because you see how this playstyle goes. You would expect it to be the duelist pushing forwards, but instead it's the rest of Core flooding through to buy that space, get the information to allow the sniper rifles to really get online. And so Alim is able to carry that operator forwards into this next round. Has enough money to buy a light rechargeable shield, probably just because Envy are going to be on a bit of a budget buy, but across the board, like, I don't know, Core are really showing up, and they're really just kind of making a statement against Envy, the favorites coming into this matchup.
And it felt like Envy had their bases covered with knowing that, okay, there's an op in top mid, got to try and cut off Core before they flank or go through catwalk and follow behind you. And they had Inspire, they had 2 players behind from Envy to watch those rotations, and Dark is very clean, very good reaction, not kind of expecting that Envy were just going to be behind them like that. And Envy had cleared the util. They really wanted to make contact with Core, didn't give them really anything. And then when you have Alum starting off 7-0, getting a dimensional drift, which, like you said, saved the round, it was really cool to see a core turning up against one of the best.
It's like all the gears are turning, and they're turning to defeating Envy right now. And keep in mind, once again, this is Core's map pick. Envy deciding to go on the attack. To be fair, you know, this is the composition and the team that you would expect to be just better, especially on some of these more aggressive rounds. But Core's defense, like the desk highlighted, looks fantastic. And I'm loving this kind of dual sniper long range setup that they're going for, because Alum also really good with that sniper rifle, really proved it that last round. And so there's a lot of additional pressure that Envy are going to have to deal with in order to make their way, honestly, even just like taking map control, because they're always gonna now be cautious about where that operator could be, because no matter how good you shoot, it just takes a split second. Just a body shot will be more than enough to send you into the ground. So an excellent showcase from Core, as once again we find ourselves stuck in yet another tech pause. Dun, dun.
Dun, dun. And hopefully Inspire will be done soon. He's definitely going through it right now, technically, I guess. And you really hate to lose anyone on this team, but especially Inspire. So hopefully he gets online very soon, and Envy don't get tilted by any issues that they're facing in this early game, because Core are definitely peaking and peaking early.
Yeah, and they're finding the kills, which honestly makes the difference. I think right now, if you're Envy, with trying to figure out what your win conditions are, because even if this is just a tech pause, you know, you got a couple of seconds to marinate in the last couple of rounds of what necessarily happened, and it really feels like it's those long-range gun duels that they're unprepared for that Core are going to be winning out. When we see them go for a lot more of that poppier, more explosive gameplay style, playing off of one another, making sure they swing together. I mean, right now they're teasing us with 2 Buckies, but I think that's the right direction that we need to see them play with. And, you know, I'm seeing now Inspire is buying some stuff up, so should be back into the lobby. Hopefully we will be resolved with this tech pause very shortly. As Envy, once again, I want to see them play a little bit more explosively. I want to see them dominate a small space and just push and completely rip apart Core on one of these sites that feels like it should be their path to success here.
Sure, and especially if you're not winning this mid control here for Envy, maybe you could just try to run it down through A, which would bode pretty well for the Stingers, and you are going to still keep that Bucky. Cainzera could try to dash in, get on top of the box, and deal with any low ground members, but Logan have to hold it down solo, and Envy good at picking him off before,
really?
And Logan catches on the TP. Here's the jet dash in. Darkus comes through the tree side to assist, and they have, as a duo, dismantled Envy. Wow.
I mean, fancy footwork coming in from the double sentinels there. Being able to just sidestep. They know the classic engage. They know where to play around. Logan doesn't even get cleared. Despite the fact that the dart went off, Ion just TPs in onto site and is a free kill for Logan to just find nice and easy. Cainzera flying in, and then you see the flashes kind of pop for Core, making sure that that was just an easy round. Like, look at this engagement. Darkus coming through at the perfect timing and catching them off guard. Envy, they're just kind of scattered. They don't necessarily push together into it. And so there's so many gaps in how that offense should have navigated onto that A site.
See if this op rings true yet again for Alum, sitting on catwalk, but that's an opener for Envy, but the barrier goes down and Core will not have anything else to delay Envy. But Envy are back to a default. Not always going to go with the most obvious option, but this push-up completely catches the Envy lurk off guard. Now Envy just have to go for a play, and none other than Cainzera to dash to the smoke solo, instantly kill Nerve while maybe looking at the minimap. It gives a chance for Envy to plan.
And look at that, Cainzera starting to heat up is the key to success for Envy as well. Already pushing forwards, making sure that they know, Core knows just how much respect they have to play towards this duelist.
Have to respect it, but it's a good crossfire for Envy is popping. Gonna hold back the forces, the tidal wave of core, 3 versus 3, and if anything, it's good time. And in the middle of the smoke, Io just can't get any shots into Alem, who was so low, sending that clone into 5 HP. The jump down, Alem will be bait. KaneZera's been netted, and core,
wow,
they're just outplaying Envy. This is insane.
This is like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not expect it to be a 5-0 scoreline right now for core going up against Envy. Like, we're seeing those pop-off moments happen, but I mean, Inspire losing that first initial duel there is a little bit unconventional. Once again, Envy, they are all shooters, but Darkest finds that so early on. A little bit of shenanigans happening for KaneZera, trapped up in the grab net, still trying to find that peak timing. And so it's just easy pickings for core. Like, they were more or less just splitting the Envy squad up and then isolating those kills. We are seeing Envy try to go for those pop moments, but core are just doing an excellent job of absorbing a lot of that pressure. Blade Storm now activated as Alem watches with this operator.
Oh. And the spike down, not great. And that wasn't even to the op, but I wonder if Envy did spot the op, because Alem was around the catwalk, and Envy are going to smoke it off. So that's a problem for someone else at another time. Recon does not detect Envy. Very close. KaneZera and Envy have really slowed things down off the dimensional drift. Counter pressure from core, trying to respect that space. The Owen clips the wings of KaneZera, claims the second duelist, and core put a quick stop to any chances of Envy that round.
Yeah, now Ion just left alone. I mean, it was a battle on two fronts. You see Alem applying so much pressure, the camera flicking and flopping back towards the B site to mid. I mean, core, they have Envy in this chokehold right now, and Envy are really struggling to get anything going. They're having a hard time kind of knocking the door in on either of these sites or any of the map, if I'm being honest with you. So we are going to be seeing that timeout getting called now. An uncharacteristic performance from Envy. Like, these guys are the team that you would expect. Like, they can just 1vx the entire squad and somehow still come out with a clutch, and yet there are so many of these long sight lines that core are controlling, and Envy are just simply not even given an opportunity to really shoot back. So I really have to commend this defense from core. It feels like they've really done their homework on Envy, and they're really showcasing it.
It's really good push and pull from core, the way they're just have two people that can just teleport out of sight. Envy have to re-clear, and there's layers to core, and a pretty deadly one was Nerve at the back with the Odin. Who knew that the Odin would be the kryptonite to killing two duelists and the two best duelists that we have in Challengers? So a very much needed timeout for Envy to try and douse the fire that is going on in their camp.
Yeah, and like, even on that last round, it came down to a simple smoke really disrupting the flow of Envy. Like, you could tell that they were ready to initiate in onto the site, but then they hesitated for a second, and suddenly Nerve is just spraying things down with the Odin and finds 2 kills right off the bat. It's so weird and unconventional, but it's really been working out. So Alem still has the sniper rifle. Going to be so aggressive there. Misses that first drop, but can easily just kind of step out of the site.
This guy's insane. Who just pushes through smoke with an op against Envy? Like, it gets away with it. Like, even Exter wasn't expecting. He was still in the middle of a jump up, but of course not the best weaponry. So this is definitely the time to get into the heads of Envy. Alem on the opposite side of the map now. Gets that first pick, and look at all the sonic sensors and the hoops that Envy have to jump through. On top of the Hunter's Fury that's clearing out through mid. A lot of damage into Envy this time. You don't have KaneZera. It's not going to be the easiest round to entry in.
Inspire does gain a lot of space here, but the rest of the team is very disconnected. So unless Inspire is able to get a kill, all of this space is going to be more or less for nothing. Look at Darkest still tucked away in Wine right now. And that could be an excellent timing if Envy are not careful.
And it's going to give a sense of security, but even with Darkest swinging, Exter locks in. Much needed round for Envy, and it's such a smaller buy too. You deny the op out of core, and you could try to break their win streak. Still, a lot of work would be ahead of Envy at this point. Nerve still has the Odin. You got shock or pulse, or actually just the recon that pop in see if anyone is still up there for the counter spam, but Envy is going to hold on for as long as they can, having people through main, through the tree side, mainly looking at Ion if he could get a backstab on 2Z and Logan, and timing has to be right. And it's enough for Ion to give the Thrifty to Envy.
And a well-earned first round there. It was a little bit interesting, but they were able to navigate their way into the gaps of Core's defense, find their way onto site, all thanks to Inspire taking so much room and shutting down Alum. So an excellent round from Envy to start to restabilize themselves. But man, Alum has just been on another one with the operator, finding so much value with that. And still, it just kind of comes down to the very end. So a thrifty round for Envy. Now, finally, will have rifles in their hands yet again and an honest chance at trying to make this one happen. Barrier going up just to kind of deny the space. So Kane's stuck in a rock in a hard place.
Oh, even with the clone walking by, Darkest doesn't get any help. Not enough plot armor, and that means Envy have found the confidence and some momentum within the sails. Ion on top of the box, and Inspire gonna pressure the back line, and that means nothing for Logan to do about this round. Just gonna save the op.
Ion sticking the TP, sticking the ultimate, knows there's more than enough chaos to completely slip under the radar, just appearing on top generators and just shooting down on all the members, finding 2 easy kills onto Core. I talk about these long sight lines and being, making sure that they keep Envy at bay, but that time around, it feels like Envy are really starting to clean things up a little bit more. Check all of the different areas, make sure that it's a clean execute coming in so that you can win these rounds without just kind of leaving those open opportunities for Core to have an early step in. It was an aggressive round for Envy, and they're rewarded with it by just completely dominating that A side. That's what I wanted to see out of the squad.
There's still so many good ideas for Envy, whether it's just the run it down from A, but also the way that they're still trying to wrap around Core, get these free kills like the way Ion did in the previous round that kind of broke that win streak from Core, to Envy closing out that second round under their belt. So see if that gets them back on their high horse, but still have a lot to make up for, 2 in a row. And Ion has been the big playmaker for me on the Envy side, but you could say that about literally anyone on Envy.
Yeah, I mean, once again, what? It's almost like the weather. Like, who's going to pop off today for Envy? It really could be any of those players. And, well, now we're seeing a different look. This time around, they're moving towards that A site. Extra actually gets caught by the mesh, but no follow-up, really, to make that one a secure kill, as Kane's Arrow was flirting with a little bit of Odin fire, but does take a bit of damage, immediately decides to back off. The re-hit from Envy will now come through. As the Owl Drone scouts things out, they're looking ready to move in.
They can try to stop Kane's Arrow. What was that shot? Check PC. Just the right timing, as Envy already cut 1 duelist down. Got the Annihilation getting popped too from Darkest, but it's popping against Nerve. Who has the louder gun? Who has the better team? It's 2 versus 2. Inspire has to deal with the Odin. Good timing to deal with the recon, and then that means the spike goes down, and Alum, the MVP easily of this, flown down to make some noise, and it will not perturb someone like Kainzera.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see the players from Envy really start to warm up. Like, there were a lot of moments there where it felt disconnected from their push, right? Like, you see them walk in one by one, allow for those opportunities for Nerve to get a spray down with an Odin. But this time, we're seeing them just kind of fly through, play off of one another, make sure they're making good contact and clean things out. Those last 2 rounds were very indicative of the Envy playbook. It's very fast, very clean, and makes sure that you can go in and hunt for those kills. So we really get to see now Envy starting to heat it up while Core are taking their time out here. Generally speaking, when it comes to these team fights, Envy comes out on top, but when it comes to some of those more like pick off 1vx opportunities, that seems to be where Core will continue to dominate their space. So Envy grouping up is what I want to see if they want to continue to win some of these rounds.
As soon as you hear the op from Logan, there was just still no hesitation from Envy, knowing that they have this window to capitalize on. of while Core are off tempo from each other while teleporting away, and Envy need to take advantage of those moments where they're outnumbering Core. That's how they're just taking over the B site, and they're being wary too of Core, who like to swing as soon as barriers go down. And once that's cleared out, Envy kind of take things one step at a time while also making turning that into a sprint.
Let's make sure they've got enough momentum in the tank. Carry them through here. Maybe the chamber ult popped. Get another sniper rifle just on the other side there. Make up the weapon deficit is Alum under a lot of pressure.
Wow, Alum had no support because Tuzi was got blinded by the opposing paranoia, and Envy will break on in. Exter teleported, but the follow-up was delayed there from Envy. Core quick to rotate in and fight fire with fire. Now Darkest, unobscured is just going to cause some chaos at the barrier to buy time for a rotation through garden and through tree. Envy respecting this Odin from Nerve that is loud and proud, and the door is open. Envy need to get picks their way before they feel secure enough to plant.
Yeah, you see Core just like, yeah, we're not going to push into you. We're just going to take our time with this. And now this is going to be their 3v2 retake.
Almost got kind of adjusting the gun there, but Poppin' it's going to peek right into Logan, and that means Core are back in the driver's seat, better than ever. No win streak really for Envy.
Team Ace.
But at the same time, I like the way that Envy are trying to take these sites. You see these moments where it's like, hey, you know, we know you're going to have sniper rifles. We know you're going to be looking at these long angles. And so when we see the kind of explosion into sight, it's purely done to kind of account for some of that. The smokes get placed very tactically. The flash goes in. Multiple people running in onto the site mitigates how much damage the sniper rifle can really do. And like we've highlighted time after time, all of these players on Envy are shooters, and they're going to be able to secure the kills. So if one of them goes down, you know someone else is going to be right there ready for the clutch. It just kind of came down to those ending moments where we see Core take a little bit of an advantage. And yeah, Alum under a lot of pressure already, but will just kind of yield that ultimate orb. Exter, though, Dimensional Drift ready. I'm imagining they might be executing off of that.
This is what's worked for Envy, but after the Core timeout, we found they really got to reinforce the right side of the map, while Exter doesn't want to get off from the rest, get cut off from the rest of his team. Because that barrier from Darkest really was a crux to that, and Envy managed to group up, not find any kills though, aren't making any contact, just the smokes in place to hopefully get a fast enough plant. And Core lurk around the perimeter of this site, ready to flood in off the flashes from Alum or the Tuzi paranoia. And the Odin pressure is getting the attention of Envy, but Exter is so locked into this left side. He gets broken down by Tuzi, and Envy are on their last legs. Literally, Ion's at 1 HP, and he can't clutch it. Core, by the skin of their teeth, get away with this round.
Tuzi coming alive when Core needed him the most. Oh my goodness me, I thought that was an Envy round 100%. I think that they're doing an excellent job at just kind of sidestepping that sniper rifle, making sure that it doesn't get that value. And then when they flood in, it's so decisive, so clean coming through. And somehow Tuzi worming their way in onto the site, able to find so many timings on the players of Envy, and just kind of makes that one work. Look at that, just a wall bang there. And then, yeah, Logan just hops down, gets a right click off. And Core find themselves at 8-3 thus far. Last round in this half. It's going to be the single sniper rifle on the line this time, as Alum once again pushing out here. And that's going to be a Blade Storm activated.
And when is that player going to swing out a wine? It's almost too late. Kane Zera's made his way in. And Alum gets his one, but he's punished by Exter. So Envy fully established now into A. Got the neural theft advantage for Inspire, hoping to give Envy the edge in this final round of the half, as Nerve got him dancing, but not damaged enough. Envy will plant, and look, you have Kane Zera even exploring through Catwalk, could get a backstab on Darkest depending on how much time it takes for Core to generate some momentum. Now they're playing off the recon. That was thrown out by Nerve. You gotta have a drop down eventually from Core, but Kane Zera, it's already too late. It's in the back of your head, and
So
Core,
aggressive.
yeah, just can't get any angles, any sight lines into the site. It's 8-4 for Core.
Switching sides.
Like, that's what I mean. When you look at the players on Envy, you're like, yeah, we know what these guys are going to do. They're just going to kind of send it. And that was a Kane Zera round and a half. Like, pops the blade, finds a first kill, immediately goes, I'm going to go exploring. You guys have fun on the site. I'm going to let y'all deal with actually getting the spike down and doing all that stuff. I'm going to look for kills. And is so successful at doing so because the timing is immaculate to make sure that that crunch happens in heaven as well. Just with that blade storm, making sure that Envy don't fall to a 9-3 half. So now we swap around here. Envy are going to be on the defense. They are rocking that double duelist, while Core, on the other hand, are rocking a double sentinel composition. We see, I imagine, the Chamber playing with the rest of the squad, but it is going to be the deadlock that is going to be more or less responsible at watching a lot of those flanks for the team.
Also more responsibility for someone like Inspire, who has to hold the site solos, got a kill trip at A main, while letting his duelist do all the work on the left side of the map. Good map control from Envy so far. The only thing you've left open is mid, and that's where Poppin's going to be watching. Already making contact, hearing that Sheriff. Going to be calling Exeter to rotate back towards B, and Kane Zera is just off exploring the wilderness. This is going to be interesting. Poppin pressured in spawn. They stack up in front of him, and not too bad. Converting 2-1.
Ooh, Darkest able to find that. Kane Zera, though, really deep onto the flank on mid. Not able to connect in time, allowing for an opening for Core. A very smart plan to kind of go right into spawn and then set up the barrier mesh, especially on a pistol. That's so hard to get rid of.
Core just going to hold within the site. No one through main. Ion has a paranoia to set things up, and he's on the opposite end. And Kane Zera, he doesn't care. Just the hero for the squad, but he's quickly put down. And it's Tuzi. Wow, good swings, good jiggles, and deals with everyone from Envy. They're swept away, and the pistol goes to Core.
Core getting yet another pistol round on this map, and one player that slowly started to climb up in these kind of clutch-ish situations. That last one, not really, but has been Tuzi. Tuzi has been really impressing me with just making sure to be in the right spot at the right time to find the kills necessary when things kind of go into that late round. When we see the spike get down, the timer is kind of ticking, the engagement is coming through, and Tuzi is good for at least 2 on those moments. And that's kind of what you need from your Omen players. If you don't send them deep onto the flank, you want them to stay alive for as long as possible and potentially find a couple of kills to make it winnable in those kind of down-to-the-wire moments.
An early shock bolt from Poppin keeps Darkest honest, while Core is off the sniper too from Logan. Looks to make contact with someone at top mid, but that lane is left pretty open. You have no vision on the right side, so you'll be running right into Exeter, who's going to be droned out. While Darkest wins his 1v1 against Kane Zera, and making sure you mark Kane Zera, because he's been crazy on the flanks. It's pretty important for Core.
Kane Zera just going for the sum swing, except that doesn't quite work unless you got a rifle. Maybe not a classic in hand, unfortunately, but thankfully they're able to mitigate the bleeding there, so they find that trade onto Darkest. The Core have been really patient thus far. Not sure if that's where the camera was meant to go, but still will give more than enough information here, as the flood should be coming in for Core now.
Ooh, that's a good flash from Envy. That wasn't even Exeter staring down the barrel yet. And Ion's within the sight, and as they double swing out, Core just cover all their angles. A fantastic job by Tuzi. That means Core will plan Poppin's last one left with the pistol to try and go down with it, and that means double digits for Core.
Yeah, they find themselves at 10 now, and once again, it's those long ranges that we see Core feel like they're a little bit better at, especially when it kind of comes to that one-tap headshot. Obviously, that last round, Envy, were only on pistols, and, well, if you're going up against the Classic, then chances are you're able to kind of come out on top. But I've been really impressed with the long-range line of scrimmage that Core are drawing. They're really keeping Envy honest in pushing in those moments. And now that Envy are on the defense, there's less opportunity for them really to just kind of like pop and overwhelm, because that's kind of not how defense works. They spread themselves out and they have to try and find those opportunities. So a little bit of an interesting standoff here. Alum just on the other side will get the better of KaneZera, though. It's a great start for Core.
KaneZera hasn't lost his confidence, and
wow,
now both of them have lost the duel to Alum. Not able to sync up and double swing out, or even for KaneZera to just push out as soon as that recon was out, so you can find the timing on the person shooting the recon. But Envy down tremendously in this round.
Very slow and patient, and I think that's kind of the way that Core want to continue to play, because they know Envy tends to be a bit more of a let's go in and kill them squad. And so you see a lot of these angles being kind of set up more so as traps to kind of catch some of the members of Envy off guard, and then immediately punish when they kind of catch that individual person there. Cyber Cage will be triggered, as Inspire is going to be triggered for maybe a couple of feetsies or something, but we'll find nothing.
Oh, that was a good paranoia from Ion, though. Keeps Core in their place and gets the attention of Envy within the site. When Inspire falls, Ion's neutralized. Exter is the only hope in a 1 versus 4. Core get up to 11. This was not the one-sided map I was expecting. I know that it's a bit of a weaker map for Envy, but not this rough.
I mean, 100%. Like, none of us really saw that this was kind of coming back. We assumed that the Qbert Academy loss, that would have more or less showed that Envy, they kind of need to bounce back. They kind of need to pull things together. And instead, what we're seeing is a bit more hesitation, a bit more fear on some of these engagements. It doesn't feel as confident as it used to be. So Core right now 2 rounds away from taking map number 1 in an extremely dominant fashion.
Hey, at least the Haven is almost the perfect map for Envy. Turn around the series, but Core kick down the door here of A. Over in Heaven will be Envy, trying to get some early peeks. A surprise with the Sheriff, but Poppin didn't get the head pop he was hoping for. But on the flank, KaneZera's up to no good. Can he do some good for Envy? He has to face off against someone in Wine. Core just have to hold on a little longer. He got the paranoia from Ion coming through the tree side, and Core is unshaken and unstirred, and Envy Sheriffs, I mean, this was going to be an uphill battle from the start. This whole map has been an uphill battle, a boss fight, when Envy have been the bosses all along of Challengers, and now it's match point for Core.
Yeah, Core now just need 1 more to win that. And I do say there were a couple of really good opportunities for Envy to find a couple of key kills. Looking at KaneZera on the flank here, and obviously they didn't necessarily have the weaponry to do so, but that's kind of the X factor that you expect from Envy, that they're somehow able to just find all the kills necessary in impossible situations. Except this time around, it really feels like Core are the ones who are consistently just conscious of Envy, conscious of the play style that they might be doing. And to me, this really says that they've done their homework on Envy and their play style, and so they know what to expect when they're in their post plans, where they might be pushing out for, because they're always watching and ready to take out those individually pushing members.
The Envy timeout to come up with the perfect game plan, and emphasis on perfect, because they can't drop a single round. And hey, at least they got the Sheriff eco out of the way, so KaneZera is looking at an op, and he's been the one that is coming up with all the ideas and solo to go on these journeys, I'll call them, on the flank. But Envy have to come together on this map, or they'll have to do so on Haven. But that has to be like one of the best maps in the NV pool. So I have no doubt we're going to map 3.
Yeah, there's this weird thing where it's like, you know, you don't want to call it too soon, but at the same time, with how QOR have really been playing this map, it seems like we're headed in that direction anytime soon, unless somehow Envy are able to come back, win 8 rounds in a row, force overtime, and then find 2. But that feels like it would be in there with like the top throws of all time for QOR. See the Annihilation pop off, and it actually catches someone.
What? Okay, QOR just going fishing, and Spire gets netted. Oh my god, the prayer Envy all along. We'll see if this Kane Zera op will get some kills. Exter has to hold on all by himself, and Flash can't teleport out. Logan, while blinded, is still the GOAT. Kane Zera alive and well, still in the boathouse. And Ion shut down on the opposite lane, and that'll do it. 13-4 domination from the unbeatable QOR, it seems, on their map pick.
I can already hear Roy just sitting back and laughing in his chair right now for making that swap over, that quirky guy him.